The Golden State Warriors, cornered, wounded, and staring down the end of a dynasty, entered Game 5 with their backs against the wall. But from the moment the ball was tipped, the Minnesota Timberwolves made one thing brutally clear: there would be no miracle tonight. With suffocating defense, relentless pace, and a performance from Anthony Edwards that felt like the birth of a new superstar, the Wolves slammed the door shut on Golden State's season. Subscribe now to Basketball Insider USA. Your support fuels every game breakdown we bring to life. The Target Center was electric, fans on their feet before tip-off, every possession feeling like life or death. From the jump, Rudy Gobert imposed his size, slipping behind Looney on a pick and roll for the game's first dunk, sending an early jolt through the crowd. Golden State answered with Brandon Podziemski, who calmly nailed a corner three off a crisp skip pass from Draymond Green. The rookie looked poised, trying to inject energy into a Warrior team desperately looking for a spark. But the Wolves were relentless. Anthony Edwards didn't rush, he orchestrated. He used ball fakes, change of pace, and perfect angles to draw defenders, then zipped laser-like passes to Julius Randle, who bullied his way to the rim on back-to-back plays. Randle's footwork in the paint was masterful, spinning off Green, finishing through contact, and glaring at the Warriors' bench as he jogged back. Jonathan Kuminga tried to ignite Golden State with a thunderous fast break dunk, elevating high above McDaniels. The Warriors' bench rose, but the crowd answered louder when Jaden McDaniels sprinted the other way and tomahawked a one-handed dunk off a dish from Edwards. Every time the Warriors scored, Minnesota responded with more violence and intensity. Mike Conley stepped into a high pick and roll and buried a triple over the outstretched hand of Moody. Gobert blocked a floater on the next possession, then sprinted the floor to tip in a miss. The Timberwolves were out-hustling, out-muscling, and out-thinking the Warriors. Golden State trailed by just 4 after 1, but the tension in their huddle told a deeper story. The second quarter was where Minnesota cracked the series wide open. They tightened the screws defensively, cutting off passing lanes, rotating with precision, and forcing Golden State into rushed shots late in the clock. Conley kicked it off with a cold-blooded step-back three from the top of the arc, then, on the next possession, used a Rudy Gobert screen to sink another from the right wing. His veteran savvy was on full display, changing speeds, setting the pace, and exposing Golden State's aging perimeter defense. Edwards continued carving the floor like a surgeon. On one sequence, he probed inside, stopped on a dime, pivoted, then threw a no-look whip pass to McDaniels in the corner, here. He then drove hard left on Kuminga, took the contact, and floated it high off glass. Crowd erupts. Warriors timeout. Golden State had no rhythm. Steph Curry was hounded on every touch. Jaden McDaniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker swarmed him with switches, denying him any clean looks. When Curry finally got free and hit a step-back three, it felt like an anomaly, not the start of a run. On the other end, Randle punished mismatches. He sealed off Klay Thompson under the rim and powered in a layup. He faced up Draymond, jab-stepped, and hit a high-arcing jumper that barely touched the net. The Wolves closed the half with a stunning 12-2 run, sparked by back-to-back turnovers forced by McDaniels, and capped by an Edwards poster dunk over Moody that sent the crowd into a frenzy. Coming out of the break, you expected a Warriors push, but instead, the Timberwolves turned the screws tighter. Anthony Edwards exploded out of the locker room with a vengeance. He drained a pull-up three in transition, then sliced through 3 defenders for an acrobatic layup that spun off the glass. The Wolves cleared out the lane and let Ant cook. His footwork and balance were flawless, his confidence unshakable. Rudy Gobert, often questioned for his offense, silenced critics with a stretch of dominance, rebounding in traffic, setting punishing screens, and dunking off Conley dimes. He pinned a Kuminga layup on the glass and then sprinted downcourt to finish a lob over Looney. It was total domination in the paint. The Warriors tried zone. It didn't matter. Conley read it like a book, slipping into soft spots, feeding cutters, and breaking it with skip passes. McDaniels threw down another baseline jam. Randle drilled a mid-range jumper over Draymond, then flexed. Golden State looked gassed. Steph was bent over after every whistle. Klay was slow on closeouts. Moody hit a triple. Kuminga gave them a highlight dunk, but it felt like a dying gasp. By the end of the third, Timberwolves 91, Warriors 68. Silence on the Warriors bench. Roars from the Wolves faithful. The final 12 minutes felt like a funeral march. Edwards stayed in just long enough to deliver the final blows, spinning baseline, floating in a teardrop over Green, then pointing to the crowd and pounding his chest. He checked out to a standing ovation with 27 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and a superstar's aura. Julius Randle capped off his night with a breakaway dunk after a sloppy Warriors turnover. Gobert continued patrolling the rim with vengeance, swatting a Podziemski runner into the third row. Even Minnesota's bench got in on the action. Naz Reid hit a 3, and Kyle Anderson ran the offense with poise. With 4 minutes left, Steve Kerr pulled Curry. He sat silently, towel over his head, staring at the floor. Clay followed, then Draymond. The Warriors' bench remained frozen, unsure of what comes next. Final score: Timberwolves 112, Warriors 88. Minnesota didn't just advance, they announced themselves as a real threat. Anthony Edwards ascended, Julius Randle dominated, Mike Conley orchestrated, and Rudy Gobert controlled the air above the rim. The Timberwolves played connected, unselfish, and with the ferocity of a team chasing something bigger. Golden State, this felt like the end of a golden era. The Big Three's future is murky. Will they rebuild, retool, or finally break it all apart? For full playoff coverage, breakdowns, and more epic game storytelling, subscribe to Basketball Insider USA. Your support is what keeps this channel alive.